Hello, welcome to this video. This video is a continuation of the previous topic, which was on CSS layout, specifically the position property. And that video was an introductory one. So in this video, we're just going to do practicals. So we're going to go into our code and clear the code from one of the previous videos. And also we're going to change the title here to position, and then we're going to get started. Now that we're done with that, let's go straight into our body, and we're going to create a div with a class static. That spelling is wrong. And within our static div, what we want to do is to mimic an ebook. So I'm going to do a chapter 1 with a heading. So then I'm just butchering all my spellings. So chapter 1 is right there. And also we want to create some dummy text. So we're going to do a dummy paragraph. Lorem 500. We should create some dummy text of 500 words. Now the last thing I want to do on this HTML page before I go to CSS is to create a style attribute. And I'm going to do the text align property center. Now I'm only doing this because I think it will be overkill to call another class, like to call another thing in this file just for that. So I don't really recommend inline styling. So now we're going to target the div by its class name and its symbol. So the class symbol is a period. Now the most important thing that we have to do is to make the position static, which is actually the default position attribute for most elements in HTML unless you specify otherwise. So we want the width to be 100 as well, 100%. So that should cover the width of the whole page. And then we want to give it a margin button so the page is scrollable. So I'm going to make it 1000 pixels, just so the page is scrollable. Going into our browser, we should have this text I'm talking about. So just to demonstrate what I'm trying to talk about, I'll take a screenshot and save full page. So you can see that I tried to highlight the heading, and that's why it has this color. Anyway, you can see that the heading and the text are at the top. They occupy space and they just stay where they are positioned by default. And when you scroll down, they're still there, but just not within your view or your viewport. And that's how static elements work. So they're still there. Now I'm going to go into our HTML file and just compress this and then comment it out for now. So underneath our static element, I want to create a relative element as well. And within that relative element, I also want to create a child, which I want to call absolutes. So I'm basically going to go over relative and absolutes because they usually go hand in hand, and then we're going to leave the rest for the next video. Now I'm going to copy this and duplicate it twice. So I'm going to change this to relative and this to absolute. So for absolutes, let's just do some styling here. I want to change this position attribute to relative, which is very important. The width should be 100. I'm going to take out this margin button thing. I'm going to give it a background of blue. So I'm going to hover over it, take a more pleasant blue because I think this one is too blue. If that even makes sense. So we can go into our browser. Oh, I've not specified the height, so it's not going to show. So I want the height to be somewhere 300 pixels, and that should show now. Oh, it's not showing. Wow, what did I do wrong? Relative, the class is right there. This should be there as well. So what's up? What's happening? Oh, it's right here. I think what is happening is I have to comment this out, and then I'm going to have, wait, relative. Oh, this absolute margin bottom is affecting it. Yes. So now that we have that right there, what do I want to do? So I want to give the absolute some properties as well. I want to make the height 100 pixels, the width 100 pixels as well. I don't want it to cover the whole width of the thing. And I want to change the position to absolute. So with relative elements, they are positioned relative to their original position. So you can shift them. I would say they act like static elements in a way. And we also said in our previous video, that absolute elements tend to act like fixed elements, which we're going to talk about in the next video. They act like fixed elements when you don't specify or you don't place them within a parent and specify the parent's values and all that. So for our absolute elements, we want the background to be black so it's visible. Going into our browser, we have our absolute elements, and by default is in the top left. So if we wanted to move it to the bottom right, we can do a bottom of 0. That's when you want stuff to stick to the bottom. And we have our elements sticking to the bottom, but still in the left because we haven't specified. So we want to do a right 0. And that should shift it to the right side. And there you have it. So obviously, if you wanted to move it around, the right could be, it could be 40. And that'll shift it from the right side. And the bottom could be 40% as well, just for demonstration purposes. And you can see that the element is basically going wherever you want it to be positioned. So that's how absolute elements work as well. Yeah, I think that's about it for today's video. If you learned something, you kindly subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment if you don't understand anything. Let me know what you're thinking, and I'll see you in the next video where we're going to continue and finish up on CSS positions. Thank you.